welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and as you may have noticed, I'm talking English today because we are switching the languages now each and every episode. And since the previous one was German, this one will be English again, and of course the next one will be German again. And as you all know, my name is Gerald, and I always have a little setup around here to work with. And of course, the setup contains, for example, of the arc mouse, which is more or less this mouse with this arc form. And in this arc style or arc state, let's say state, it really is very ergonomically and usable, and it really works like a normal mouse. And as you can see, it's of course on now. And if I, for example, put it into this state, this more or less flat state I call it, it's off now, shut down. And the cool thing about it is it's really easy to transport it now. So if you want to put it into your bag or something like that, there's nothing that is holding you back with this kind of shape then. And of course, if you want to use it again, you have to click it into this state, because otherwise it's not on and you will not be able to use it. And now you can see there is this LED light at this point, and of course at this point, and like that you can see it's on now. And yeah, in a more or less similar way, the foldable keyboard is working, and in this case it's a foldable keyboard, which means that you can flip it to this state and you can just use it in this more or less normal state, whatever. And like this you have a full keyboard with a 10-finger optimized system or key layout now. And you can, for example, use this and write on it if you are capable of using, for example, 10 fingers to write, of course. And of course, it's very, very thin. It's very light, of course, too. And as you can see, if I, for example, switch it to this state, so just having it into this folded state or whatever you want to call it, it's now very, very small too. It's of course double the size or the thickness now, but this is really nothing you have to think about, because it's still maybe 1 centimeter or something like that in height, and because of that it's really, really easy to transport. And of course everything is protected like that. That means there is no way that something is, for example, coming in contact with the keys in there, and like that. It's really a nice layout and a nice design, if you ask me, because it's really easy to carry around, and of course you have, no matter where you go, the full comfort of this 10-finger possibility. Yeah, and in general there is, for example, the Xbox One wireless controller in the game, in one of the episodes too, but in this case we will not use this one because there's no game around which is supporting this Xbox One wireless controller at the moment. So this one will only be more or less watching us from the side here. And because of that, we are more or less going to leave it there. And of course, as you all know, Continuum is based on the smartphone, so we need a Continuum-based smartphone. And in this case, this is a Lumia 950 XL I'm using here. It has a Mozo cover called Zebra Wood on here, so as you can see, it's more or less wood, and the texture is really wood, so it's really wood there that is on this case, and it's not some kind of an I don't know, plastic or whatever, which is just painted or so, but it's really a wood cover here, which is really a nice feel, and a very haptical thing here. And of course, yeah, a very haptical thing, Lodge, whatever. And as you can see, we have a USB-C connector at the bottom here, and I'm using this wired approach. There is a wireless approach too, but in this case the good thing about it is that this will be automatically charged with energy here, and like that I can play around as long as I want with it. And of course there is this USB-C connection here, and I will use it with this cable to connect it to this display dock at the side. And this display dock is again connected with my TV using a HDMI cable. In this case you could use, for example, a display port cable too, if your display device, like my TV in this case, would support it, but I'm using HDMI at the moment. And as you can see, we get more or less a desktop enabled or desktop like state, or a desktop like version of our representation of our smartphone here. And like that I can, for example, use it with, for example, a mouse, a keyboard and everything else you want to use here as a peripheral. Yeah, and as you can see, we can now just use this. And if you want to know more about all of that, the setup and stuff like that, please have a look at the top there. In the info box you will have a video where everything is explained a little bit more closely than I did in this episode now. Yeah, and of course what I want to show you is Brofist beats the Bullies in this case. Adventures of Flig and Rush Hour 3D will be the games I will have to show you in this episode, or I will want to show you. And yeah, more or less that's all I have to say there, and let's have a look at the first game, which will be Brofist beats the Bullies. So I will go to my all apps here at this point, and there it is already, so I just click on that and let's have a look at that game. That game is really a fun little game to play, and what it's all about is more or less you have to Brofist people, so this ghetto style, whatever, introduction, whatever you want to call it. And the cool thing about this game is it really is very, very inclusive. So there is a tutorial before what we see here. I already played that, so we will not see it in this case. But what is happening there is that you will have to do Brofists, and you will play this, for example, with a mouse or with a touch display. I'm using the mouse in this case. And what you will have to do here is you will have to do a really, really great timing to get the Brofist at the right position and the right timing, of course. And the cool thing about this, I don't think we can go back to that again. Let's see if I can click on something. No, I can't go back to the tutorial now, but the tutorial will really show you what is going on here. So first off, you will have this Brofist style, so you have to get it in a really nice fashion and in the right timing, of course. And after that, you will, for example, face more than only doing the Brofist, but you have to click on different circles which are filling, for example, and you will have to click them in the right direction and the right timing, of course, too. And like that, you are playing this game. And yeah, the story is quite easy. This is a small little girl which was bullied here, so there was some bad guys which just got her candy, and you have to bring it back now. And as you can see, she's pointing to this side, so you have to switch over now and get this kind of stuff back again, so that the candy is what you want to do here. So let's go. And I just click on this guy now, and as you can see, there is this Brofist style, and you only have a few wrong attempts here. You can see that with the lines you see at this point, and you can see that if you do it wrong for too many times, you see you have to restart again. And there are these lines. You can see that this is more or less the number of times you can hit the wrong thing here. And this is more or less what you really have to watch for, because if you, for example, click too often, then you will lose it. So if you put your hand up and there is no hand coming down, for example, then it's a bad thing. And of course, if you are, for example, too slow or too fast or whatever, it really has to have this right timing to do a Brofist, and like that you can play this. And after that, just click on that. It's really quite low there, so you really have to have a look that there is a button. But like that you can start all over again, and now let's try it again. And as you can see, as fast as you see another fist somewhere, you should really hit it now. And just click in the right moment. wrong from me. Again. And I failed because I clicked too often here. But as you can see, in the moment that the fist is coming up there, you should really have a look at that and try to click in exactly that moment, and not earlier, not really much slower than, because otherwise you will lose it. And as you can see, there is some kind of a button. I can't really see it because it's really too low, but I can click on it with my mouse and we can just restart this again. So I will try it again once. Hopefully this time more successful. And seems to be working okay this time. Whoa. Not really. It's getting hard if, for example, there are two fists which are really in a close run here, so very close together time-wise, and like that it's really hard to play this. But let's try it again. What I really like about this game is the whole style, and more or less the music is very nicely done, and I really like this. It's really somehow fun. That one. And at the top you can see there is a status bar, which is showing you how far you are in this game now. And there's a bully ahead, and for a bully you have to hit him. And hitting him is more or less, this small little circle you see there is really full, you have to do the Brofist there, or hit him, whatever you want to call it. And like that you would get the candy back. Let's try it again. I just like it. Oh, we are out of energy now. Okay, so we can't play it without watching a video or whatever. I think I can just, I think I will just leave it like that now. But please try this game, it really is fun, especially the tutorial is nicely done and everything else is fun too. You really should have a look at it, it really is worth the trouble to download it here. Okay, so I would say this is more or less what I can show you for this game. There are of course more things to see here. For example, if we go back here, you can see we can get a daily gift and stuff like that. So we get, for example, 1 energy. We could play it again, but we will not do that now. Even so, I really like this game. I don't know why, but I really like it. But whatever, we will just leave it like that now. And as you can see, you can use this groove style. So there is different music for bullies which are coming around, and groove is more or less your style, your money you have here, whatever. And it really is quite a nice game. So please try it out. It really is fun to play. Okay, so let's have a look at the next game, and the next game is called Adventures of Flig. It's more or less a game where you can play different small little games in. One of them is, for example, air hockey, and I like to play air hockey a lot. But there are more, for example, there are some kind of puzzle games, there are some kind of obstacle avoiding games and stuff like that. It's a nice little game. I will just show you a little bit of the air hockey stuff here, and you can just try the other stuff out here. But I really like air hockey in this case a lot, and all the other games are a little bit small. But if you want to play them, try it. It really is fun somehow. So I will go to my all apps list, and of course I will search for Flig in this case. Click on that. Wait a little bit until it's starting. And there we are. I don't want to rate it at the moment. As you can see, it's more or less created to be played on a smartphone or on a portrait mode device, of course. But you can play it in this case too. As you can see, this is Flig, your game player more or less, or your the player figure here. And you can play this game versus another person, or you can play it in the normal fashion like you want. And I will go to the normal fashion here. click on that, and as you can see there are different levels to play here. I will just turn down the volume a little bit so I don't have to shout a lot. And in this case, as you can see, we have different levels here. And the first level, for example, is to avoid obstacles. I will, you know what, I will show you that too, whatever. So let's play this. If you, for example, know Hugo the game, it's quite old already, but it's more or less what is going on here. So if I click on that, as you can see, we have to swipe around to move our little player here. And as you can see, we will hit other obstacles which are coming our way at this point. And we want to avoid that, of course. And you can swipe up to jump around. You can, for example, swipe to the sides, of course, to just go to left or side, or right, of course. And you can, for example, collect different things here and power-ups and stuff like that. It's an easy, small little game, but I like it somehow. It's, of course, a small kind of way, but it's fun to play. And this is more or less one of the small little games I told you about. We will just play this one and maybe one round of let's say, air hockey or something. And of course we can jump around, and as you can see we now have some kind of a shield. Shield means that you are not going to be hit by this kind of stuff. And of course if you, for example, drive around too much and against some of the rocks here, you will just lose this game and have to start over again. But after a while you are through this, as now, and this is more or less a small little game in this, bigger game, whatever you want to call it. And there is sometimes a little bit of advertisement, but you can just click it away, and like that it's fine to play. And now let's have a look at the first little air hockey game, and I think that's all I want to show you. There are more, there are puzzle games, for example, and stuff like that, but just to show you a little bit of this is the air hockey part. And the air hockey part is going to be that you throw your player around and try to kick this little ball you got there, this one, into the gap at the other side of the screen where the other player is trying to avoid that the game or the ball, of course, is going to be in his gap there. And let's see what we can do here and how this game is going to be. The first level is more or less easy, if I'm not playing that bad as I did already now. But the first game is more or less easy if you just found out how to get rid of him. So there are more or less two options to win against him. The first one is just play as long as you want and try to get himself to push it into the gap there. That's quite easy to play. Or you just have to get the right angle to throw it into his own part, and as you can see, he's often trying to put it in a bad way for himself. Not that will not happen for you. I played like that again too, and as you can see, you are often hitting it in the wrong way. So playing is just by holding your mouse key, for example, and moving your mouse around. And after a while, I think we have to play 5 or 7 parts, I'm not sure, till we win this. And this is of course just the first level. There will be other enemies, for example. In the second one, with air hockey, for example, you will face one which is trying to kill you more or less by, oh, he got one, by throwing stones at you. And the bad thing about that is that you are more or less uncautious if you get hit by the stone. And getting hit by the stone is really going to, it will take the control of your player for, let's say, 3 seconds or something like that, and like that he can play it easily against you if you're not really cautious about what you are doing there. third game level for me. Let's try it again. Okay, one more goal for me. I will just try to increase the sound here again. That was quite close. Let's try it again. Come on. Trying to get one or two more goals here, so we win this. But he is, of course, playing this game too. And if I'm not being a little bit more careful about it, so I will just look around, so it's easier to play for me. And of course I'm now losing this because I'm playing it really crappy at the moment. But let's see. Has to be doable. Because I already did it 2 times and it worked out. So one more for me. Let's see. And I think if we got 6 or 7, I'm not sure when it's really going to end at this point. Because now I would have more than half of the levels here, but I think I have to get a certain amount of hits. Yeah, 7. Somehow it's 7, I don't know why, but then it's working out and I will win this. And as you can see, it just crashed at the last play there, but I finished this, so nothing bad about that. But this game is a little bit of a crashy one, so if you want to play this, just make sure that you are really winning everything, and then go back. It will work again, and you will be able to play at that state again. But sometimes it's just going down. I don't know why. Whatever. So, that was Adventures of Flig, and I think we should have a look at Rush Hour 3D now. The last game in this episode I have here, I will just close this down now, because sometimes it's just staying in the taskbar then. You just have to click on it for a short time and then just get rid of it at the point there. And now let's have a look at Rush Hour 3D. This is a small little 3D game where you will play more or less looking distorted at this point, but it will not be distorted in the game itself. And you will have to avoid a different vehicles which are coming at you, and you are driving, for example, an ambulance car, or some different games here, or some different cars here, so you will have different options to buy, for example, in this game. And it really is fun and fast-paced, but not extremely problematic to play. As you can see, this is your player here, and you can just drive around with it. And I will use the keyboard for that. And as you can see, you are just going to get better scores by living longer, more or less. And that's more or less everything that's going on here. So drive around, try to get rid of the other cars. If you are driving against one, it's not extremely bad at the moment, but you shouldn't play this. And if this is happening, then there will be, for example, in this case a fire truck, or in some cases cool. Fire truck is getting rid of the way here, so the way is free after that. But if you have this, whoa. Okay, I didn't know that they can come down there. That's a little bit harder than I thought there. Okay, so play again. And all you want to do here is to get a really high score, more or less. Try to get the fastest and the farthest you can. And as you can see, we are driving here. You can, for example, change the different. You can change, for example, the camera perspective by clicking, for example, at the different buttons. It's more or less the W button I'm using there, and like that, I can go up and down again. So if you want to play this in a different camera angle, just use V, A, D to move around, and S you can switch back to the first camera angle there. So let's do the next one. So drive around, try to get the first point in the score. I will show you score after that, of course, but it really is fun to play, and you can, as I said before, try to brake a little, which will, for example, change the perspective. If you press on the W, you will be faster. If you press the S button, for example, you will be slower, of course, and like that you can play this game. Just be sure that you are not on the lane which is coming to be used by the police or by the fire truck or whatever, because otherwise you will lose this very fast. And like that, try to be here and stay on this lane as long as you can. And be careful, because the cars are coming down again, which are, for example, put up by the fire trucks and stuff like that. So just try to avoid everything that is in your way. And it's not always easy, as you can see. And I just hit something and got down here. Yeah, and more or less this is all I can show you about this game. Of course you can, for example, click on this. Now you can switch between different vehicles. So if you, for example, have enough to buy this from the score 300 stuff, so you really have to have a bigger score to get better cars, of course, like for example 100, which then will be giving you this new car, I think a Buick or something, and like that you can go and switch cars between very different things here. Whatever you want to play and whatever you like, it's coming to be here. And yeah, this is more or less what you can buy here. So let's go back. And of course you can have a look at the score. So how good have you been, and how good are others in more or less, I think, the same day or something, I'm not sure. And it's really fun to see this, and as you can see, this is more or less my score at the moment. 65 is what I got here. And if you're playing longer, you will get more and more points, and of course other vehicles and stuff like that. It really is a fun little game, and it really should be played if you like this kind of game here. It really is fun to play there. Yeah, and this is more or less everything I can show you about that. Of course you can click on this here and play again now, but more or less this is all what is about this game, and I really like it. Try it out. Yeah, and this is more or less everything I have to show you in this episode. I will, of course, we will see us again in the next episode next week. I hope you had fun, and there was 1 or 2 games you liked in this episode too. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, of course. If you have any kind of questions, please leave them in the comment section. I will try to answer them, of course. And yeah, if you didn't subscribe till now, please have a look at that and subscribe now if you want to look at the next, or be more or less alerted about new videos I will upload, new episodes I will upload there. And yeah, then I would say thanks for listening, thanks for watching, have a nice day, have a nice week, and we will see us in the next episode. Bye bye.